What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back with another player ratings video. This time, this capitulation, we lost one. Well, we lost one.
Capitulated 1-1. Yeah.
We drew 1-1 with Watford. Absolutely disastrous display in the first half, especially. But yeah, let's get straight into it.
Yeah. We start with Paulo Gazza. We gave him a 5. In all honesty, he didn't have too much to do during the game, but I think that's more to do with Watford's wastefulness than to do with any good defending or anything. I think he had a couple of dodgy moments with his kicking, but other than that, he didn't have too much to do. So you can't blame him too much. Didn't really have a chance with the goal. So
yeah, the main point is his distribution. That's why he got points down, didn't he? Because apart from that, he didn't really have much else to do.
It was weird. There was one moment he was very calm, chipping the ball over the attackers. The other point, there was another point, nearly gave it away. But,
yeah. Anyway, moving on to Serge Aurier, we gave him a 5. I think he was probably one of our better players on the day, getting up and down. His crossing was a bit woeful. Yeah, but nothing too good of note, but nothing too bad of note, which is the good point.
He started a wing back, and you thought maybe that could suit Aurier a bit more, you know, not having that defensive responsibility. But going forward, his crossing wasn't up. He had a few good crosses in, but there wasn't enough people attacking it, I felt. But yeah, I think in total his crossing wasn't great.
Yeah.
And I think he lost his man for the goal as well. I think it was partly his fault. I think Pereira peeled off him, and I think he should have done better with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Next up, Danny Rose. We gave him a 3. After a really poor start to the season from him, I think this is probably the worst of it. A really, really bad display. I think defensively, he definitely takes most of the criticism for the goal, losing Jan Matt so easily, caught him in no man's land, and ultimately they scored from it. And I thought going forward, absolutely woeful. As Lee said in one of our fan cams, Lee from Dorset Spurs, he does seem to have lost his confidence going forward on taking on a man. He can't. I don't know whether he can't do it anymore, or he just doesn't seem to attempt it. All he seems to do is want to get fouls now. That's what he seems to want to do. He just wants to seem to try and win a foul of the defender, win free kicks, and that's just not good enough anymore. I'm sorry, and I can understand why maybe I can understand why we're willing to let him go now in the summer, because he just hasn't had a good season so far at all. He's been one of our worst of the lot.
Well, it seems like Poch's been actively trying to get rid of Rose for a while now, and the whole fan base has been up in arms about it. But look, you can clearly see why, because the guy is rapidly declining as a footballer. There was one moment in the game where he took it past someone, but that's the best thing of note. I think defensively he was shocking. Going forward he was shocking. Provided pretty much nothing to the team.
Especially when you got him at left wing back, he has so much more responsibility going forward. He really needs to be like a winger, and he just wasn't that. The only couple of things you would say that probably stopped him getting like a 1 was he tried to win a couple of penalties, and he maybe was a bit unlucky not to. But other than that, it wasn't great.
Grandpa won't be happy, will he?
No, poor Grandpa.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on to Davinson Sanchez, we gave him a 6. I thought he was our best defender on the night.
He only played 45 minutes. That's probably why.
He only played 45 minutes. And he gave away the ball 4 times, as opposed to our other defenders gave away the ball over 30 times. Look, he only gets a 6 because he did play 45 minutes. But having said that, it's still not good enough for Davinson Sanchez. He gets bullied off the ball too easily. People go past him too easily, and he's not strong enough for me.
I mean, I don't think he did too much wrong in this game. He only lasted 45 minutes because we played 3 at the back when we probably didn't need to. And when being 1-0 down in the second half, someone had to be sacrificed, and he went with Sanchez. But
for me, it should have been Vertonghen.
It probably should. Seeing how open we were in that second half on the counter attack, it probably should have been one of the other 2. But I don't have too many complaints about Sanchez in this game.
All right.
Next up, Toby Alderweireld, we gave him a 5. His display, I think you would think playing a back 3 it would help him, and I think he was the player trying to, again, I think he does this often, he tries to take responsibility. He was at times he was like an extra midfielder, but I feel like sometimes it's too often his go-to move is that long ball over the top, and I think he tries it so often.
Like a one-trick pony, isn't it?
Yeah, it's become a bit frustrating because he gets the ball and sometimes you just know what he's going to do, and it's so easy to defend against when you know he's just going to play it long and look for that ball over the top. And he did, to be fair to me, found Son once in the whole game, which was a good ball. And sometimes all you need is one time to get a goal. But I think too many times it's coming to nothing, and I think it's become a lazy thing to do. We need to be playing it in between the lines, trying to play through Watford, and I think it's too easy just to be bypassing midfield and defence and just trying to get over the top.
How many times did we see Toby Alderweireld on the right wing or just outside the area trying to put in cross into the box. It was so many times, and not once did it find a Tottenham player. I think defensively, he was losing the ball way too much. I think I do think out of him and Jan, he is the much better player at the moment, just because Jan is absolutely terrible. We'll get onto that in a minute, but he needs to improve. He needs to get his head in the game at Alderweireld, because we're not seeing the performances that we've seen from him, especially last season.
We don't see. He plays those long balls, but he doesn't play those crossfield balls like he used to. He's looking for those penetrative over the top, and it's just too much. I think he's trying it too often. It's one of the things, you've got to have it in your armory for the unexpected. You know, you've got to catch the defence off guard. But when they expect it, it's just a useless thing to do.
And it's great when it pulls off, but when it doesn't come off and it's happening time and time again, it's just so frustrating.
And it ruins the game plan as well. I feel.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Jan Vertonghen, we gave him a 4. I don't know what to say about Jan anymore. I've been calling him out since the beginning of the season. It seems like he's lost 2 or 3 yards of pace. Players keep getting in behind him, keep catching him out, and even his passing was absolutely dreadful on the weekend, which is usually his kind of forte. There was a moment at the end of the game when we were pushing for that 2-1 win for the goal at the end, and the ball gets to Vertonghen and he squares it to Toby Alderweireld, and it just goes out of play, and it just epitomised what Jan Vertonghen was all about. Well, what he's been all about this season, and to me, it stinks of what. I don't believe a player can lose it like that overnight. I know we spoke about before about how John Terry kind of lost it overnight, but I think John Terry was a bit older than that.
No, same age, similar age.
Even if he was the same age, I think Vertonghen, he's got such a good football brain, and I don't believe he's just turned into a bad player and lost 5 yards of pace overnight. I think it's a lot to do with his mental state, and I think we've seen it before with Jan Vertonghen under AVB or under Sherwood. You know, when things are not going right for Tottenham, he gets very lethargic, starts resting on sideboards inside the stadium, and just doesn't look interested. And I think we're seeing that from him again.
I think maybe that's partly to do with it, but I think a thing of that age is you really have to keep control of your fitness and to stay in peak physical condition. And even when you're 33, 34, even a 1% drop off can have drastic effects when you're not keeping on top of it. And I think maybe over the summer that Pochettino was saying at the beginning of the season how Jan Vertonghen came back, and I don't know if he said it, but there was rumours that he wasn't fit. And obviously we know he didn't start the first.
He said it was
games.
tactical, didn't he?
He said it was tactical, which would say that I think that would say he wasn't fit.
But the rumours were that it was because Jan was questioning his training methods and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, those were rumours. Also rumours that he wasn't fit. There was a few rumours flying around. I don't know. I'm not sure. Obviously, we don't know 100% the ins and outs. But I think the fitness thing. If you don't keep on top of your fitness at that age, it contributes to losing a very rapid decline, and that can happen if you're not careful. And we could be seeing that as well. Even so,
at that age, if you're not keeping on top of your fitness, especially for someone as experienced as Jan, it's not good enough.
Yeah,
it's really not good enough.
Of course, it's not good enough. But we dropped him, and everyone was going mad for dropping him.
Yeah, well, now we can see why, so now we can drop him again.
Right. Harry Winks, we gave him a 5. Poor display from him, I felt. After he had a series of improved performances after a bit of a sloppy start to the season. But I think this was a bit of a revert to how he was performing earlier on. Wasn't a great performance from him. Sloppy passes, wasn't quick in that sharp Winks that we know, and that kind of cost us a bit in the midfield, because when we're playing that 3 at the back, you need your midfield to be sharp and on it, and he just wasn't.
Exactly. Like you said, when we're playing that 3 at the back with that 2 in the middle, you really rely on Winks and Sissoko heavily. And Winks is that player that's going to get the ball and make us tick, and play those forward passes, go around players. But he just wasn't doing that. Too many sideways passes, too many
Decore bullied him a bit.
Yeah, too many backways passes. As you said, he got bullied, and too many wayward passes. That was the main thing to me. Yeah. Moving on to Moussa Sissoko, we gave him a 6. I thought he was our best player on the day. And it's not like he even played too well. He was just our best player because he was the one that looked most on it. He was getting the ball. He was trying to bully the Watford midfield. He was making those forward runs. He was trying to make stuff happen, but it just wasn't coming off because everyone around him was just shit, basically.
Yeah, he was trying to put out so many fires, I felt, off the ball. He had a lot of defensive responsibility.
Broke up play a lot
in midfield. He tried to, even if whether he did or not is another question, but he definitely tried to. I thought on the ball, he was decent, wasn't terrible, but again, you can't be relying on Sissoko, can you? When you're trying to break down a defender who's sitting deep, Sissoko's not the main man you want to be relying on. You want to run on your creative players, but he tried his best, Sissoko. I don't think you can fault his effort and his application, so I don't think he can come up with too much criticism in this game.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lucas Moura, we gave him a 4. Obviously there were a lot of calls for him to get more game time before the international break. After he's the few minutes he's had this season, he's actually played quite well. Especially Olympiacos, City away, he came on and did very well. But it was one of those anonymous displays that Lucas can always put in. Sometimes he played up front in this game, him and Kane, and he was anonymous pretty much. He really didn't get hold of the ball at all. There was one moment in the first half he turned and looked like he was going to make something happen, but came to nothing. And it's just one of those displays that Lucas really needs to somehow get out of his game if he's going to become that consistent player that we need. And these are the performances that we keep bang on about when we complain about Lucas, because we all know his quality, we all know how good he can be, but sometimes more frequent than you would like. He puts in performances like this where he's just anonymous, and he was hauled off after the hour.
I agree with you, but I do feel for him a bit because, Watford go 1-0 up within 5 minutes. They stick 11 men behind the ball, and it's going to be difficult for any striker or forward player to get in behind or to get past men when there's so many players behind the ball all the time. We've seen it before, whoever we're playing, or whoever we've got on the pitch, whoever team we're playing, when they come to our home and we stick 11 men behind the ball, we find it hard at the best of times, even when we're on form. When we're off form, it's going to be even harder. But having said that, Lucas, what he's best at is playing with men in front of him and getting past players, and he just didn't do that enough, did he, on the weekend?
It wasn't enough from him. Didn't see enough from him.
Moving on to Dele Alli, we gave him a 6. I thought in the first half he wasn't really in the game. He was trying his tricks and his flicks, and nothing was really coming off. For me, it was the second half where he came alive, especially in that last 20 minutes. I thought he was our best player. All the player was pretty much going through him, and it was a lot better to see from Dele because we haven't seen a good display from him for a long time, and I think that was a step in the right direction for me.
It was slightly a step in the right direction. I agree. I don't think he was very good first half. I agree with your point. I think he was better. I think he was more creative, and I think on the ball I think more things were coming off for him in that second half. And obviously he did get the goal, the equaliser. A bit of luck, probably. A lot of luck
Did it go off his hand?
You know what? I've seen it so many times, and I'm still not sure. Well, I don't know why we only got one angle. For some reason, they've only shown one angle. Yeah. And to be honest, from that angle, I wouldn't have.
It looks like it hit him here.
I don't know. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was ruled out, to be honest.
Really?
Looking back at it, I thought it might have been ruled out. I don't know if they got that completely wrong or not. I'm not sure. I think one angle.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, showing that angle was a difficult angle, so I wasn't 100% sure. So I can see why they gave it in the end. But it was a lucky goal, good finish to get in from a tight angle. But he definitely got lucky to be in that position. But when Dele's at his best when he's in and around, getting involved in the goal contributions, getting assists, getting those finishes, those late runs in the box, and we just didn't see enough of that. It was too much outside of the box, too much trying to fit the play together when he's always been a player who relies on moments, big moments in games to really make the difference. And obviously that did happen. But it wasn't, it
more came out of luck than out of Dele's desire and kind of will. But what I would say is that Dele had a chance in the first half where it just dropped to him in the edge of the area, and he could have taken one hit,
shift and shoot,
shift and shoot, exactly, like he did against Watford in the last season at White Hart Lane. That goal from the edge of the area. Yeah. It was the exact same moment, and the old Dele exactly would have put it top corner. But you can see a guy low on confidence, and it just bounced off him and went.
No, he was just dawdling on the ball a lot, which is a shame.
All right, moving on to Harry Kane, we gave him a 4. I think he was pretty anonymous this game. I literally hardly saw him on the ball, and literally I've got nothing to say about Harry Kane because I hardly saw him throughout the whole game.
Well, second half he seemed to drop a lot deeper. First half he was playing up front with Lucas. And he did struggle. Second half he dropped a bit deeper. I didn't really see too much creatively from Harry Kane because he was kind of playing that cam role. Lucas was playing our furthest forward player. It was kind of Son on the right and Dele on the left. It was a pretty poor display from him. I'm not going to lie. And when he's our captain now for the next few weeks, you expect the leader to have a bit more about him, but obviously we know how much Harry Kane's given for us. So, but you know, you got to call him out when he's not performing, and it wasn't a good display.
Yeah. And as well from Harry, you want to see a bit of a leader's performance, especially in times like these, you know, and we're just not seeing that from him at the moment. You know, people are going to be looking at him for inspiration, and he needs to be the one galvanising everyone on the field, and you're just not seeing that at the moment.
Yeah. Well, and after, you know, great display from him for England, 3 assists and a goal, and it's just poor when he comes back to Spurs, it just wasn't the same.
Although he is not helped with the players around him,
No,
so
true.
So yeah, go on.
Yeah, Son came on at half-time. Heung-min Son, we gave him a 6. He gave us a bit of burst of energy.
Hit the bar within 5 minutes of coming on.
I think initially when he first came on, he gave us a little burst of energy, and I did feel like throughout the second 45, he was the only player pretty much looking to get in behind or threatening to get in behind the defence and really stretch them. But he did seem to waver a bit. He did seem to lose that energy midway through that second half before I think he got a bit of a second wind at the end. Son. He's the only attacker at the moment. It looks like he's going to do anything for us. Yeah. And unfortunately, he didn't start this game. He can't start every game. I understand that, but we need him on the pitch at the moment.
We do. You know, he played 90 minutes, lots of 90 minutes out in South Korea, so that was probably a big factor why he didn't play. When he came on, you saw his will, his desire straight away, and he was probably our best player.
You saw that clip of him going mad when that first goal went in.
That just shows what the man's all about.
He cares.
Exactly. Moving on to ERIK LAMELA, we gave him a 6. He came on the hour mark, and I thought he was brilliant when he came on. Showed his intent straight away. He was winning the ball back all the time, trying to make stuff happen, trying to start counter-attacks. Just didn't come off for him really.
Yeah, I was happy again with Lamela's contribution. I thought he was our most dangerous.
He needs to start.
He was one of our most energetic players when he came on. Obviously, it's easy when you're a substitute to be energetic, but he was winning the ball back. He was harassing. That he was what the attackers should be doing, which they seem to have lost it at the moment. Our forward players to really harass that defence. They don't seem under pressure at all anymore. The opposition only when Lamela kind of puts a foot in. And you know, we were saying at the beginning of the season he's been one of our best players this season, and maybe he was unlucky again not to start this game.
Yeah, I think he definitely needs to. He needs to be the first name on the T-sheet at the moment. Him and Son. I'm sorry, but they do. They're the best. They're the most informed players. But yeah, moving on to Pochettino, we gave him a 4. I think system was wrong from the get-go. I don't really see the point in starting 3 at the back against Watford at home. But having said that, I think the substitutions were spot on. I think Son and Lamela both coming on, both kind of changed the game.
And Ndombele also
as well. He played well when he came on. So I think starting tactics were bad, but I think he rectified things to make things better. Although we didn't go on to win, we could have gone on to win that game.
He made things better, but it wasn't great because in all honesty, if Watford had any sort of quality going forward, they would have won that game. Because
but you know, if we had any quality going forward, we could have won that game as well.
You say that, which obviously is true, because if we were more quality, we would create more chances, whatever. But on the break, Watford has so many openings to all it was one ball, and they could have been in, and they just didn't find it. For us, it was different. We had a lot of possession, obviously in the final third, but we didn't have the quality to pick the lock. Yeah. It's a bit different to when Watford had so many opportunities, kind of on the break to just kill us off, and they were wasteful. We weren't wasteful. We didn't have that quality. It's a bit different.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So I think the tactical plan from Poch in the second half, it was better than the first, obviously because it was more attacking. But again, we could have been on the end of a 2-3-0 loss if Watford took one of those chances. So again, he got a bit lucky. I agree with you. The back 3 or back 5 didn't work in this game. I can understand why he changed it, and I'm up for him changing things when to shake things up.
You got to give him credit for keep changing stuff that's not working. But
I get that, so it's all right. But it didn't work. The fullbacks were nowhere near attacking enough. They weren't effective enough going forward at all.
Yeah, but is that down to them or down to him?
I'm not saying it's down to him, but he knows who they are. You know what I mean? And he's put them in that situation. So he's got to know what to expect from those fullbacks. They're not going forward.
That's all we got at the moment.
I know. It's worrying times. It's not.
For me, Foyth should have started right back. To be fair, but having said that, Aurier didn't have such a bad game. So
he didn't have a terrible game, yeah. But
it wasn't great. He wasn't
But
great.
we need that width from the fullbacks, and they weren't getting on the ball enough. And I think the back three, it didn't help. He did change it, it did improve, but it didn't improve enough for us to get the win. And when we're drawing at home to a team who should have less confidence than us, you know, it's a really worrying situation. We drew when we should have. In all honesty, we probably should have lost. Jan should have given away a penalty as well. We didn't mention that. It was a stonewaller.
Yeah.
Absolutely lucky we didn't we got away with that.
Yeah.
And they're Watford are a team who are bottom of the league, haven't won a game at all this season, lost 8-0 to Man City only a few weeks ago, and we struggled so much we should have lost. So it shows us where the team's at the moment.
All right, well that's that depressing player ratings out of the way.
It's getting more and more depressing by the week.
I know, we move on to the Champions League tomorrow night against Red Star Belgrade.
Absolutely massive game.
It is a massive game.
Massive game. Just in our qualification hopes, we need to win. If we don't win on Tuesday, I mean, obviously we could have said the same last season, but it's dead in the water.
Are you confident?
Nope. I'm not. We can't look. Are they worse than Watford? This team? I don't think so. They're in the Champions League for a reason, and I know.
Yeah, but they're in Serbia.
They beat Liverpool last season.
It's true.
So you can't be too confident against anyone in the Champions League. Any team that's won their division or has finished top 2 division, they're there out of merit. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be an easy game on Tuesday. We just need to have that. Get on the front foot early and see if we can get a win. But at the moment, this team is so devoid of confidence. You don't back them to beat anyone. They couldn't even beat Colchester.
It's true. The team devoid of confidence. The fans devoid of confidence.
Yeah,
and
that's the problem. What do you think of Pochettino quickly? Pochettino's comments about the atmosphere not being great.
Well, he's right. The atmosphere was dreadful, but then he did rightly say that in the last 20 minutes, the team were pushing the fans were pushing the team on, and it's true.
Yeah.
I thought
actually in this instance, I thought it was a bit harsh, just because from Pochettino. I did, because I felt at 1-0 down. I actually heard the fans cheer singing. I thought we were trying to get the team going before. I thought we did. Obviously, no, it wasn't like Dortmund or anything like that, which maybe you could say that's what we need, which is true. But I did feel like
you hear small pockets of fans chanting, but that's not fans chanting as a collective. It's not good enough. And Pochettino was right in my opinion.
But yeah, I think that for some reason the stewards were extra vigilant in this game. I don't know what it was, but it literally.
As I said, the stewards showed more passion trying to get us to sit down than.
As soon as the chance was over, they were on you like a flash. Like, sit. The chance was over. Go sit down. It was mad.
Driving me absolutely nuts. But anyway, like, subscribe, and comment, and tell us what you think of the player ratings. And as always, come on, you Spurs.